Bait and switch. Americans, you're being scammed. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, the 16th of January. And the scam rolls on as we continue to get the bait and switch technique from this administration. And if you don't remember what bait and switch is, it's create a false narrative and a false need to sell you something that you don't need and to basically fleece you out of your money. I mean, that's the simple explanation of how it goes, and that is exactly what we are watching happening in this country today as the current administration continues to pull the bait and switch by creating false narratives to sell us something that we don't need. Very much like the old siding salesman that you used to hear about, the old used car salesman. Create a need and fleece your customers, okay? And of course, we aren't customers, we're the suppliers, we're the funders of this ridiculous project that continues to be run by the criminals, the illegals, and the story, which is basically destroying the middle class of America. Okay, as we go back and look, you have the Twitter files that have been released that show the media hoax, okay, that was created under the Russia into the Trump election. Okay, it was there was no such animal, but of course, again, when you have those who create a false narrative, you end up in positions that you cannot get out of. And I think that this is one of the problems that we're watching as the current party, the current administration, is trying to use the old tactic of divide and conquer. And if you're of any age, probably 40 plus, you've never experienced as much hatred and as much racism in this country, okay, led by the chief racist, the President of the United States, okay? I mean, again, if you go back to the debates, okay, if you go back and look at any signed legislation over the last 47 years, you can bet your ass you see President Joe Biden as signature on every bill that was not to help minorities, not to help those in need, and to destroy. Okay, so you can look at whatever you want. You can tell me whatever you want. The facts are clear. This is not an opinion. This is not subjective. This is fact. Okay, and only because Kamala Harris is such a piece of shit and worthless did she take the vice president's job, because when they were debating, if you remember, she called them out on every one of those things that we're talking about right now. And of course, if we continue to look at this debt ceiling debate, okay, Yellen warns that we're going to hit the debt ceiling. Who cares? Close down the government, okay? The government was not designed, the federal government was not designed to be the biggest employer in the world. I urge you to go back to your 8th grade school test on the Constitution, which tells you that government should be run city, county, state, and the federal government is an overseer, not the world's number one employer, not the world's number one debt creator. Because as we continue to watch the government and the Federal Reserve, they create nothing but debt. They don't create product. They don't create revenue. They're banking on the fact that they can bust out the middle class with taxes to pay for all the stupid projects they're never going to do anyways. Now, since I've been voting, which is almost 50 years now, okay, every president that has been elected has promised to fix the infrastructure. Not one has done so. But we have, as taxpayers, as Americans, we have certainly paid a fortune to get something that we paid for, but we never got delivery. Okay, and you want to talk about the losing my mind here. We're talking about the energy policy, the Green New Deal, the green energy, the climate change. I don't believe in climate change. Okay, I believe in the natural evolution of the world and the earth. Okay, but even if you do believe in it, suddenly in Germany now they are using coal at record numbers. Okay, now coal is the dirtiest to burn for fuel, but you have no alternative. Okay, so as you on one side you say green, on the other side you have record coal usage. Okay, and Germany is not the only one. It is a epidemic. If you're an environmentalist, a greenie, okay, that is continuing to grow in record numbers. Okay, and it is scary as you can get out as we now see that genius AOC trying to tell us that we want to ban gas stoves. Okay, again, create a problem and then come in with a solution. Okay, when there is no problem. Sounds like the drug makers of the United States. It sounds like the drug companies create a disease so that you can cure it. All right, get your people hooked on medication young, so you have a customer for life. I mean, why do you think that going back in history, cigarettes were made addictive? Okay, you think it was made because they had your best interest? It's because you create a customer for life. No different than a heroin dealer. Okay, so are we really going to go through this now with gas stoves and piss away tons more money going through these investigations and going through these hearings and trials and tribulations of bullshit? Or are we going to finally, Americans, step up and say, you guys are out of your mind, okay? Because you're getting, again, scammed. All we're seeing is a major scam going on, okay? Now, you just saw on Friday the start of bank earnings. And of course, another scam, which has become very prevalent over the last 20 years, is for companies to underpromise what they're going to deliver so that they look better, okay, in a bad situation. So we had earnings in the banks, and they beat expectations, okay? Well, again, when you set the bar so low, I mean, who here can't step over a 1-inch bar, okay? But again, what does it do? It creates interest, and it creates people that say, oh my God, they're doing great, because they have brainwashed you into telling you, we're going to be bad, bad, bad. They get the numbers way lower, and suddenly, boom, they beat them. Oh, it's a beat. They made a mistake. That is not how it really works. Okay, this is, again, a part of the brainwashing of investors and a brainwashing of Americans, going back even to who we refer to as Beetlejuice, or Lori Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago, who is now bringing in the students and begging teachers to teach and convince their students that she should be mayor so they can go home to their parents and say, you got to vote for Lori Lightfoot, or AKA Beetlejuice. Now, food prices continue to rise. We had an inflation number, 6.5%, and the bullshit buzzer goes off, because you and I both know that those who are paying $8 a dozen for eggs, those who are paying $6 for a loaf of bread, know that inflation is much higher than 6.5%. And what you really should be doing is looking into your own spending, looking into what you are buying yourself, okay, and seeing if it is comparable to what you were buying in the past. And looking in your bank balance to see if you're still gaining or losing value of your bank account. That will tell you if you're in a recession. That will tell you what the inflation is. You don't have to listen to some stupid ass economist who has an agenda, okay? Make your own decisions. Wake up. It's enough to let the greatest country in the world continue to shrivel up and kowtow to other world powers, China, Saudi Arabia, Russia, okay, when we are by far the best country that there is. But when you have weak leadership and you have the bait and switch scam going on, you're going to end up with shit, okay? My mom taught me, if it looks like shit and it smells like shit, it's probably shit. And that's what I'm watching right here, okay? Food prices continue to rise. Tesla just cut their prices. Now, why would the greatest of the electric vehicles suddenly, with the greatest operator, cut their prices 20%? Okay. Well, maybe the economy ain't so good. Maybe we aren't in as good a shape as they'd like you to believe. As you saw President Biden out there cheering on the 6.5% CPI, which again is a ridiculous number. It's not even close. But when only 4% of food and energy count in that CPI number, it makes sense because they're counting in appliances and computers that keep coming down in price. So we can look at all these things we want, but Tesla's cutting their prices. Okay, people aren't working. Okay, we've lost 2 million jobs. So where is, as Clara Peller used to say, where's the beef? When are we going to stop the government? And that goes to all government, not just the dopes that are in power now. When are we going to wake up, okay, and quit being ripped off and getting scammed on bullshit? Debt ceiling, shut it down, okay? Have some balls and shut down the government so that they can actually learn how to spend. If you don't know, the Congress and the Senate took a raise during COVID, and they just took another raise, okay? So while America is struggling, your politicians are taking raises. Take that and put that in your pipe and smoke it, because that is what they want you to do, is to not see the bullshit that they're driving and the penalties that you're being forced to pay for. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. Excuse me. It is Sunday, the 15th of January, and we're going to stop out here for a break, and we'll be back right after the break with more of Bubba's Bottom Line and our market report. Well, kids, Happy New Year. Great to have you back. And, of course, excuse me, there are a lot of issues in the country, but one thing we know for sure, we've got some great sponsors here at Bubba's Bottom Line. And, again, these are brokers. Now, I have many brokers. So to give you full disclosure, these are not my only two. But these are the two that I prefer. These are the two that I would recommend. These are the two that do by far the best job. And if you're looking at, our letter of direction, futures and commodities trading, there is nobody better than Capital Trading Group, CTG. Listen, bottom line, they got the best customer service for letter of direction trading, which means that somebody's doing trading for you. There's nobody as inexpensive as they are. They will also give you a special rates for your own self-directed trading. But at the end of the day, their customer service is what the key is in this business. Because when you're calling your broker, you ain't calling to say Happy New Year. You got a problem. They answer the phone. In the meantime, that's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. Scrolling around the sides because I know I talk too fast. Trade your brokerage. It saves me over $100,000 a year. $10 a month flat fee. I pay $120 a year for commission. Okay. They have the ability to auto trade our equity portfolios. They can take care of and that's for free, by the way. If you're a member of the equity portfolios, you don't pay any extra. You still pay your $10 a month. Plus, obviously, membership fee. Hedging, you have to pay a licensing fee to us to use the software, but the trading can be done automatically. Okay, they've got cryptos coming soon. Okay, $10 a month, cryptos coming, great customer service, automatic execution. What could go wrong there? Unbelievable. Best equity broker I've ever seen. And that's try.trader.com/Bubba. That's try.trader.com/Bubba. And that's on the side as well. And our high school program, this is it. This is my last year. As we can see the destruction of this country, it's hard to get teachers to teach financial literacy. But you want to help us out as we make one last push. Go along the bottom, you'll see our high school program. And that's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, our weekly market update. Bubba's Bottom Line will be right back into our financial reports. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, the 15th of January. And, well, what a market. We said last week, it looks like it's going to rally. And, again, I'm not telling you that I like the market. I'm not telling you that I think they're going a lot higher. They could. Okay. I still stand by my 50 to 70% total sell-off from the top, but it doesn't mean that they're not going up now, and we are long. Okay. We reversed everything this week. Okay. So again, I think you have to remember that opinions are like assholes. We all got one. Okay. And that it's not our opinion that matters when it comes to trading. It's watching what the market is telling you to do. And I think you have to also remember is you never fight something that is always right, because the market is an inanimate activity that is always right, never gets sick, never gets tired. And if you fight it, you end up losing. Okay? That's why, go back to Bear Bryant, defense wins championships. In the meantime, as we look at the indexes, they were all up pretty sizable over the week, and we are long. We weren't long all week, but we are long and are now totally long the market right now, of course. And as we take a look at the dollar, now the U.S. dollar, we no longer trade in our portfolio models, but we would be short it. The dollar is headed south. And the euro currency, which we do trade, we're still long and have been long for quite a while, even though I'm telling you, at some point in the next few years, it's going to 88 cents. But again, that's the problem. How long do you wait? How much capital do you have? And are you willing to put it all at risk, which you should never be willing to do? Bitcoin, well, I told you 15 to 18,000. Look for a rally. Watch if it get above 18,000. It's now up to almost 20,000. So Bitcoin did have a nice little week at the end of the week. We are long. Okay, as we look at the bonds and notes. We're long bonds and notes. I don't like it. I hate it. I know interest rates are going higher, which is a direct correlation. But the trend is up, and we're long bonds and notes. Okay, and they had a big up week again. The metals, gold is charging. Okay, hard charging gold that we told you at the end of last year that we thought in 2023 gold would make new all-time highs, and it looks like we're headed there. Okay, key number as you watched it churn around that 1860 level and finally broke out. Now look where it's at now, 1920. Okay, and again, listen, it could come down tomorrow. Well, tomorrow we're closed. It's a holiday, Martin Luther King holiday. But again, we could have a little sell-off. It wouldn't be a surprise, a little back and fill. But in the meantime, gold, silver, and platinum are all solid. Now, we don't trade platinum anymore because it's not liquid enough for us, but we are long. We would be long them all, and we are long gold and silver. And silver looks like it's next target will be 25. And I expect silver to get to the mid-30s this year at some point. Copper continues to charge higher. And again, that doesn't make sense either. This is something you have to remember and put in your memory bank. Okay, that the markets, there's no reason for copper to be going higher, but it is. Okay, and that's the point. It doesn't really matter if there's not a reason. The reason is that the buyers are outweighing and outnumbering the sellers, or as we say, price discovery is higher and the buyers are more aggressive right now, and we are still long. In the natural gas market, natural gas continues to get slaughtered, and we're continuing to be short, which is a good thing. Okay, crude oil, we continue to be short, and that's been a very trying trade. We're right around that $80 level. Look, I think crude's got an outstanding chance to make all-time new highs. As much as I hate crude, because it's a worthless commodity if it was handled properly by this administration and in this country, because we should just be drilling our own oil, okay? And it would be $30 a barrel instead of, 100 instead of 80, and then 120, and probably 160. But in the meantime, it's not the case. And of course, but we are short. But I think we're very close. Another rally will probably push us to the long side, which won't throw me. But what am I going to tell you? Okay. In the grains, the grains are kind of just stuck in Nowheresville. Okay, that's really what you have. Is the grains are really just stuck in a trading range. It's been very hard to really get a grasp on it. And I think one thing you have to remember, if you look at or talk to any farmer, the inputs are getting so ridiculously high. It's going to be hard to continue production. The interest rates, which is a big part of inputs, is ridiculous. So, again, I see a big market coming now. As currently we are short corn and short wheat and long soybeans, and I don't like being short any of those grains right now because I do believe they're going dramatically higher. In the protein complex, which is cattle, fats and feeders, and hogs, we no longer trade it in our portfolio models, but we would be long cattle, both fats and feeders, and we'd be short hogs. And I think there's a direct correlation there to the oil markets and to other things, so you'll see. And of course, in the softs, cocoa was higher, we're long, cotton was lower, we're short, sugar was lower, we're short, OJ has been flat, and we're still long, and coffee got hammered again, and we're still short. So the big picture is that we had a pretty good week. Okay, we had a pretty big start to the year, so everything's all good. But again, remember, don't fight the market, don't fight the tape. If you really can't participate to the upside, which you should be right now, then sit on the sidelines. Don't try to sell it because you have nothing else to do. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, the 15th of January. We're going to step out for a break and come back with, of course, our commentary and our football picks, which we are in fuego. Bubba's Bottom Line. We'll be right back. Well, kids, I'm not going to go through the whole spiel with the sponsors. You know how highly I think of our sponsors. I put my own money there, so it's certainly reasonable. And it's Trader Brokerage, Capital Trading Group, and of course you can see their information scrolling on the sides. And our high school program, you can see along on the bottom. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horowitz, and of course my commentary, and of course football. Let's get back to it right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday. US 30 drag strip. Sunday. In the meantime, it is January 15th, and of course tomorrow, no trading tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Martin Luther King holiday, although the markets will be open through what they call Globex, trading electronically until Europe closes. But in the meantime, for us and for those who want a day off, there's no trading tomorrow. It's take the day off, okay? In the meantime, there's so many things going on, and as we opened up with the bait and switch and the scam, and there was no bigger scam artist than the President of the United States. There's nobody who's done more damage to everything that you could put your hands on. And of course, what I find interesting is a couple of things. First of all, with his moronic statement that the immigration of illegal immigrants coming in from Mexico is the same as the Jews fleeing to avoid the Holocaust. Now, I don't know if those are even in the same remote category, let alone anywhere near accurate. Okay, but now we see that we find all these classified documents in his garage in a couple of different places, and God knows who's got them. But I don't care about the documents because certainly, somebody who's the president of the United States could certainly, make their own documents of all the documents that they have, right? It's like not that part. What bothers me, and I think what should bother you as a citizen, is that when they found some documents of Trump, there was a major uproar, and they're going after him, want to arrest him. When Trump called Zelensky, they impeached him. Okay, now we're supplying Zelensky with all his money, and now we find all these documents in Joe Biden's garage all over the place, and not a peep. Okay, the same thing with Hunter Biden. What is he? Look at the damage he's done, the money he's stolen, not a peep. And I think that's the injustice of it all in this country, which goes back to this scam, because again, your freedoms are being stolen while you're being run by really dictators versus actual democracy. The democracy in this country is slipping. Okay, if you can't see that, then you should really open up your eyes. Because when you see the same exact, if you want to call it a crime, and you get two different results, there's a problem. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Today, football. We got 3 games today and 1 game tomorrow. And today, okay, we don't like a lot. We love Tampa Bay tomorrow. Okay, Cowboys, I think the Cowboys are going down. Okay, and I think that you have to, look at the bigger picture. I mean, it's playoff time, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And again, you want to be with the best. Minnesota, the Vikings, Minnesota and the Giants. Like Minnesota a little bit, but no big deal. Bengals, like the Bengals, but they're not. I don't like laying 10 points, so it's hard to do that. So I would say to you that the Buffalo Bills look pretty good too. You may want to look at a teaser or something, but our best bet of the weekend is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In the meantime, to all of you, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. If you're off tomorrow, you have a great day off. We'll see you back on Tuesday with another Bubba's Daily Update. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. See you back next week or on Tuesday, whichever works for you. Take care, everybody.